Started a series called Sticky Notes, and if you haven't been here, you'll catch on why I did that. And I've been talking about some stuff that we commonly forget, and I realized maybe just talking about it's not as good as showing you some memes of it. So, because those always help. So there's these things, right? Like, no, there's that moment you realize you forgot the test, you know? I don't know if you've ever you felt that. Maybe that helps you realize. Okay, and then of course there's how you feel during the test. I don't know if you've ever been taking a test and like. I remember taking this one, and I was looking at it, I was like, I didn't even know these were words. Like, I didn't even know these were like actually, did they just make stuff up and put it, and I felt that way, so that's maybe how you felt. And then, of course, there's how you felt after the test, just that sadness, and some of the girls are like, that's the cutest puppy I've ever seen, okay. But yeah, there's that terrible feeling that like when you know that you did bad, and maybe you've experienced that kind of thing. And then maybe there's some other stuff, like that moment you realize you forgot your wallet. If you've never done this, okay, I actually, you probably haven't done this, but I went to the grocery store. I'm literally in the store. I get all of my stuff. My basket's completely full. I go to the checkout person. They go, you know, the little belt thing that goes down and beep, beep, put them all in the bags. I get everything ready, loaded, ready. And she goes, all right, it'll be this amount. And I go, I left my wallet at home. And I was like, you just keep that stuff. And I just left. Like, what are you supposed to do in that moment? It was terrible. Okay, so there's that moment, maybe you forgot. Maybe one time I went out to eat with some friends, and when it came time to pay, I realized I didn't have my wallet. I was like, so who's buying my dinner? And that's a good trick to get your food free. All right, anyways, so there's that moment. The moment when you realize you forgot to do your chores, like your mom comes and says, why didn't you do this? It was an accident, okay? Like, please don't grab me. I don't know if you had that moment. But then it's not always bad. There's also how you feel when everyone forgot but you. I don't know if you've ever had that, just like you're in class and like nobody else remembered the assignment or whatever, and you did, and you're like, yes. Okay, it's like a really good feeling. So maybe those will help you think about. Here's the kind of what we're talking about, is there's just some things we need to remember. And I know that if you're like me, you forget stuff, and so you probably do things to help you remember things. Like I have an app that helps me remember things, and if I don't write things down on that, I know I'm never going to do it. So I use that. Or, there's all kinds of different stuff. And one of the big ones that I've used throughout my whole life are these guys, right? The sticky notes. Because, you write something on there, and you put it where you need to see it so that you'll remember it, and it helps you remember. And so we're talking about some stuff in life, like some stuff that needs to be sticky, like it needs to stick, and we need to not forget it, and need to remember it. And it comes from Proverbs chapter 3. Okay, so Proverbs, most of it is written by a guy named Solomon. He's like David, who killed Goliath, his son. And he is really wise. He's really smart. He knows, he has all the stuff that like God helped him understand, and he shares it with us, okay? And he has some stuff he says we need to make sticky, okay? Things that we need to not forget. And so that's what we've been doing. We're working through Proverbs chapter 3, and here's what he says. My son, do not forget. We start with this every time, okay? And he says, don't forget, because his kids were probably like you, okay? And me. They forgot stuff, okay? And so he's like, hey, don't forget this. Don't forget my teaching, but write my commands on your heart. In other words, they need to become such a part of you that it's in you, it's in your heart. They're written on your heart. And so these things he's saying, they're huge, they're important. And he goes on, he tells them why. He says, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you prosperity. In other words, your life's going to be long and good. Now, I remember I actually taught this the first time many years ago, like old building years ago, okay, if you were around or heard of the church back then. And I didn't have kids back then, and so it felt a little different because I understand it a little different now. Because this is it's written like a dad to his son, right? He says, hey, son, and he wants his kids to prosper and have a long life. And see, now I have a son, I have my own son and a daughter. And, there are things that bother me, because I want them to be healthy and happy and good, right? But like my son, it bothers me. He will not eat anything but crackers, candy, other crackers. The most healthy thing he'll eat is a cashew. Okay, he will not eat any vegetables. He will not even eat chicken from Chick-fil-A. All right, it's like candy. It's so good, okay? And he won't even eat, and now why does it bother me? Not because I think vegetables are heavenly, okay? Because I want him to be healthy, right? I want good for him. Now on a much bigger scale, he's saying, hey, these are things that I want good for you, son, okay? And from God to us, he's saying, hey, my sons and daughters, okay? I want good for you. He wants us to have prosperity and goodness in our lives. And so these tells us these things that we need to remember, that we need to make sticky, that we need to put inside of us. And so we've been talking about those. The first week was some stuff that will make every relationship you have better, okay? Every relationship you have better, with your coach, with your parents, dating relationships, all of them. And so if you missed it, go back and watch it. But that one was a big deal. Last week we talked about how that God can and will direct your life. And so now we're going to look at another one. We're just going to jump right into it. It's in verse 7. He says, do not be wise in your own eyes. Which I'm not going to focus a lot on this. I think it's kind of interesting. It starts very similar to last week's, which is don't lean on your own understanding. And now it's saying don't be wise in your own eyes. Don't think that you have everything figured out. And it seems like most people think they have everything figured out. Maybe you know somebody that's like a Mr. Wise guy, okay, like they just know everything, they think. But, there's a lot of evidence that we don't have everything figured out. Like right now, all across America, there's people in an ER who probably just moments before said, oh, I got this, right? They're up on the top of the hill, right? And they're about to go down and say to their friends, like, no, don't do it. I got this, okay? They were wise in their own eyes, right? And now they're in the hospital. Okay, nobody wakes up in the morning and does the, okay, I just want to, I'm going to wreck my life today. That'd be good. I think I'll do that, okay? And yet most of us have had a day where we look back and go, what was I? That was a bad decision day, okay? I may have been wise in my own eyes in the moment, but now when I'm looking back, I was being dumb, okay? And we've all had those. And he said, hey, look, don't just be wise with your own understanding. You can't just look at yourself and think, I've got it all figured out, okay? And that's not a good way to live. That's not going to lead to a long life, okay? And so we don't want to be that. But what do we want to be? And so he goes and he kind of helps us understand a little bit how that we can lean on something else. And before I jump into it, I just want to ask you this, because it might help us understand it. Have you ever been like really scared? Like scared? Now, not like, you're in your room and your friend snuck in and you didn't notice it and they went, boo, like that. You know what I'm talking about? You have a friend that does that? Okay. Like I have friends that try to do that. Okay. Not that kind of scared. I'm talking scared like you're in the house and there's a tornado like on the block, or like you're in the house alone and you hear like a person or something in that, like there's a murderer, like real scared. Anybody had like real scared? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So keeping that kind of thought in mind, let's read the next part of this verse. It says, fear the Lord and shun evil. Fear the Lord. So wait a minute. Is this saying that we are to be like scared of God? Like a tornado coming down the street? Like, I saw that sin you did. I'm about to wipe you out. Okay. Are we supposed to be like afraid of God? Is that how this is supposed to play out? Like I'm scared of him? And I can certainly think of some times when maybe I had some fear. Like especially when I was younger, I would every now and then I'd just be laying in bed at night and I would just start to think about eternity and like hell. And like the more I thought about it, I would like get saved again. Like every single time I'd be like, okay, God, I'm never going to do anything bad again. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to hell. And that would like make me afraid. But here's the thing. This is not saying that we should be afraid of God. Now, if you've rejected God and you're living, in disobedience as far as like you don't believe in his son for your salvation, yeah, you could be scared of God because there's some not good things coming. But if you're a believer, okay, and you're trusting in him, we're not to be afraid of God. There's a difference between fearing God, which is a reverence for God, an awe for God. It means that we're going to honor him, to have a fear of the Lord. There's a difference between that and being afraid. We're not afraid of him, but we fear him. And again, it's kind of a weird thing because we don't really talk that way about much of anything. So I try to think of some ways that maybe I could show it to you. And here's one. How many of you have ever shot a gun? Shot a gun, okay. How many of you shot a handgun? Anybody? Okay, that's interesting. Anybody ever shot a living thing? Yeah. Okay, some hunters, okay. Well, look, hopefully not a person, okay. But anyways, I'm not gonna even ask because I don't want to know if you have. This is my gun safe. Because I have kids, I have to keep it in a safe, right? There we go. So here's the thing about a gun. So even like if you take all of the bullets out of a gun, right? And like you check the chamber, you check everything, and it's completely unloaded, you still have to be very careful, right? Like I would not take an unloaded gun and put it to my head, okay? Because here's the thing, I respect it, okay? You could almost say that I fear it, right? Now I'm not afraid of it. I'm like, oh, there's a gun. Landon, there's a gun. use your ninja skills. Okay, I'm not afraid of it, okay? But there is a respect, right? A fear. Now, this one's a toy. Because I don't want you to go home and tell your parents, PJ had a gun in there, and they'll be like, you're not going back to that church. Except for some of your parents be like, really? I want to go down there and see that pastor. I like the gun church, okay? I know you got that too, okay? But here's the thing, if it was a real gun, I wouldn't have even brought it in here, right? Because I respect its power and all of that. And I'm not afraid of it, but you understand what I'm saying there? And it's kind of like that with God. It's not a gun that's going to accidentally blow your head off, okay? It's not a perfect illustration. But what I'm saying is I'm not afraid of him, but I understand that he is powerful, okay? I understand that he is more. In fact, one of the problems with real guns is that people get so comfortable with them, people that use them a lot, that they stop being careful. In fact, I watched a video of a police officer. He was at the shooting range, and he's just so comfortable, he went to put it back in his holster, and he wasn't paying attention, and he shot himself in the foot. Just boom, right in the foot. And because he was just so comfortable with it. And I see that maybe there's a couple problems that we have. One is we're just so comfortable. We've been around church our whole life. We heard God, oh yeah, God loves me, yes he does, and all this kind of stuff. And we're so comfortable that we've lost all fear, all reverence, all awe, all wonder of who he is. The other side is maybe some of you actually kind of just see him more like the toy gun. Well, he loves me. He can't do anything. It doesn't really matter. He's just, he's the big dude upstairs. Like he's my bro God. Okay, and he's just kind of like a toy. All right, and why be afraid of that? I mean, he's my bro. Okay, and no, he's not. In fact, I was reading my Bible just a few days ago. Actually, it was last week, and I was just reading in Psalms, and I read this. Okay, let me just give you a little image of God, and this is still like, just because I think we picture him like just another person or something. Okay, listen, it says, who is like the Lord who sits enthroned on high, who stoops down to look on the heavens and the earth. Okay, now, when it says heavens and the earth, let me just give you an image here. So you know what the earth is. Do you know what the heavens are? When you go outside tonight and you look and you're going to see all those stars, okay, that's the heavens. And you understand how big that really is in reality. Okay, so if I was to go into my backyard and I saw like a little flower and I wanted to look at it closer, I would stoop down. Oh, look at that, it's so pretty. Okay, so here's God. The universe, he stoops down to look at it. Do you understand how big that he is? How amazing that he is, that there's that universe I made. Like it's this, and yet he's the same God who is with you in your room when you need him and when you need to talk to him. He's the same God. I mean, it's like he's this and he's here and he's amazing. Okay, he's God who he holds in his hands. It says blessings and curses. He holds life and death. Okay, he's of course he's love and grace and mercy. And he's also justice and righteousness and holiness. And we should awe him. We should, if you think of God like your buddy in heaven, okay, you need to rethink how you think God. Because as long as you see him that way, you will never really understand what it means to live this life and what it can be. We need to have a reverence for who he is. And maybe you just need to read some of the Old Testament and see what he is. Because he's a big God and does all. I mean, he opened the earth and swallowed thousands of people up one time. Okay, he flooded. We all know about the flood. One of my favorite ones is one time the Israelites, his people, complained because they didn't have meat, so he made them eat meat until they were throwing it up out of their nose. Okay, he's a God that we don't really understand. I think he's big and he's wonderful and he's awesome, and we should fear him. We should reverence him. We should awe him. Okay, and that will get you started down this path. And then the next thing it says, and shun evil. Shun. Do you know what it means to shun something? Have you ever shunned a person like, shun, I don't want to talk to you, you're ugly, okay? Or maybe like this, okay? Have you ever been to like your grandmother's house and she made like a meatloaf, okay? And meat should not be a loaf. Bread is a loaf, okay? And you ate it, you know that. You ever eat something that was just so nasty, like you made the face, like it can't, okay, and you're like, ugh, okay, shun it. You did not want it. You want to just shun that thing. Get it out of me, okay? This is like an attitude that we're supposed to have, okay? Where it's just, ugh, okay? We shun evil. Now I know, you're thinking, so my sister is evil, so that means okay, no, evil like the devil, okay? Like sin in your life is what this is talking about. The sin and things that are leading to sin is what it's talking about. And what we're supposed to do is shun it. Someone say, shun it. Yeah, you gotta do the hand thing. Ready? Shun it. Yeah, okay. She didn't do the hand thing. Oh well. Yeah, you gotta shun it. So this is what I mean. We got things, and when it comes to evil and those, we gotta hate it. We gotta shun it. It's gotta make us okay? When we think about it. And that is the opposite of how most people think about sin. How most people think about evil, okay? How people think of, let me give you an example. Every year in the relationship series, I'd spend part of the time talking about the question, how far is too far? In other words, like, how far physically can I go in this relationship before it's sin? And I'm not going to talk about that tonight, but I'm going to talk about this first part, okay? And I want to talk about why do most people want to know this question? They want to know, like, okay, so what can we do so that I can do as much of that as possible? Like, okay, I want to know exactly where the line is so I can stand right next to the line. Okay, is this shunning evil? No, that's not the way it should be. Is, oh, that's it? Okay, like meatloaf, okay? Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. We hear where the line is and we want to get it away. But we do it totally different. It's like, well, how much can I do? Well, I mean, okay, in the movies that I like to watch, like, how naked do they have to be before it's raw? Or like, how much naked, okay? Or like, in my music, how many bad words is it till I can't, and how much of this, and how much do I, before it's a sin, like, how much can I drink? Like how much, okay, or like, how much can I, and we get this whole idea of how much of this sin can I put into my life before it hurts me, before it kills me spiritually? It's about like asking this, okay, if I was to go and get a gas can and a little spoon, a little teaspoon, and I filled up the teaspoon, okay, and I went, would that kill me? Probably not. I don't know. What if I got a cup and I just filled up like an 8 ounce, like a little cup, and I drank that? Would that kill me? What if I just took this thing? This is only 2 gallons, and I drank the 2 gallons. Would that kill me? What if I went to the gas station and just stuck the pump in my mouth and just went like, what if I lit a match? I don't know. At what point would it kill me? Okay, at some point, it's gonna kill me. But here's the thing. Why am I drinking gas? Okay, like, why am I trying to find the point where it's going to kill me? And it's the same idea. If I'm going to keep putting evil or sin or things like that into my life and going, how much of this can I have in my life before it kills me spiritually? How much of this can I put in my life till it really causes harm? You know, like, the wages of sin is death, but I mean, what about like a little death? Like, I mean, how much can I do before it really catches up to me? And why would that be our attitude? It's kind of like the attitude of, how high of an object could I jump off of before it killed me? Like, okay, like this stool, this looks good. I mean, it's really wobbly. Okay, okay. Didn't die. Okay, and so then you go home and you get on your roof of your house and you jump off and you're like, oh, kind of tweaking my ankle a little bit, but I'm fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna try 2 stories, and okay, maybe something got it cracked a little bit, and you do 3 stories, and then you break a couple legs, and you get your casts on, and once you get them off, you're like, I'm healed up. Time for 5 stories, and you just keep trying until finally it kills you, and you found it. But guess what? You're dead. And so here's the thing. You're good. Not only did you finally die, but you went through a lot of pain along the way. And so why do we then do this? This is what we do with stuff. Well, how much of this can I try? I'm just going to keep doing it. Oh, it hurt. Oh, man, but, it didn't. What doesn't kill you makes you strong. Okay, and I'm going to just keep trying stuff until and then finally, we find ourselves in a spiritual place we never thought we would be. And it's the same idea that we're trying. Why do we put this sin in and think that we can get away with it? What we're supposed to do, what we need to do, is when it comes to sin and evil in our life, we shun it. We shun it. I hate it. I don't want it. I want to see it gone. And I'm going to talk a little more about it in a second, but I want to show you, each of these kind of has like a result. Remember, like, if you do this, this will happen. And it kind of explains the prosperity part of it a little more. And he says this. He says, if you do this, it will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Now, when I read that, I was like, well, that's just not exciting at all. Like, none of you was like, oh, yes, I really was hoping my flesh would be more healthy. And my bones, like, just drink some milk, okay? Like I don't know, like, this is not something that okay. But what you need to see is it's not I don't really believe he's literally saying this will make your bones stronger, okay? Calcium and lifting weights, that will make your bones strong, okay? I don't think that's what he's literally saying, okay? In fact, this word flesh right here, if in the literal translation, because they did translate it to flesh to help us understand it better, it's actually navel, okay? Like health to your belly button, okay? Like it's like a really weird thing to say. It's like, I have the most healthy belly button, like of all of my friends. Okay, you think he's talking about literal? Okay, no. But think about what it means, okay? Just really what he's saying here. Now, like one commentator I read, he was talking about like how that when you're I hate this word, when you're a fetus, when you're a baby inside your mommy, the umbilical cord, it gives you life, right? It gives you your food, your air, everything comes through that. It puts life inside of you. And whether that's what he's talking about or not, I do get this, that there is a health inside, okay? Not just, physical healing health, but just, when you're whole, happy, health, you know what I'm saying? Inside, okay? That's what he's talking about. In your body, inside, there's this health. And he says, and strength in your bones, okay? When everybody else breaks, when everybody else is struggling, you're strong. Look, your bones are your inner strength, the most inner strength of you. And it's giving you that inside strength. And where does that come from? It comes from a fear of the Lord and from shunning evil. In fact, I was just thinking about, and I just saw this today about, because I came up with these two goofy illustrations, right? And how they're like so much the opposite. I mean, come on, if I'm sitting here drinking this, think of what this would do to my physical body. And is it going to be healthy? My navel's going to be sick, okay? But yeah, and think about jumping off of a building and your bones are good. And bones are going to be crushed, all right? And so it's like the opposite. And as we're doing these kind of things, and so what we're supposed to do, as we learn to shun and hate evil and fear the Lord and have an awe for him, it strengthens you. And see, some of you feel not healthy. You feel weak in some ways. And if you would begin to shun some evil in your life, and you would begin to develop an awe of God, I know that would begin to change. Your flesh, your body would feel healthy again. Your bones, your inside, you would feel stronger again. And it comes from this. And so I've been trying to give you a sticky note version, something that will stick with you, right? That you could take home and remember. And I was just going to have just shun it, okay? That was going to be it, which Joni would have loved because it would have been so easy to write. She's the one that writes all the sticky notes for all of you, okay? And but I didn't. I came with a longer one. And so here's what it is. Does this honor God and shun evil? Does this, and I'm going to explain what this is, honor God, and I know it was fear the Lord, but when we're fearing him, we're going to be honoring him. And I think it's maybe a little easier to understand what it's like to honor somebody than to fear them. So we're using that for the sticky note. Does this honor God and shun evil? So here's what I'd like you to think about doing. When you get your sticky note in a little bit, put it somewhere where you're going to see it the most. Like maybe if you have a car your car that you drive, you just put it right up there, okay? And so you'll see it right when you get to school, when you get out of school and all that kind of stuff. In fact, maybe the best thing for some of you to do, okay, and just for 1 week, okay? You don't have to do this the rest of your life. If it really is impactful, you might could do it longer. Take a picture on your phone and set it as your lock screen, okay? Because this is what I want you to do. You're about to get on and you're going to get on TikTok. And I want the thing that you see, does this honor God and shun evil? You're about to start your playlist, or pick what you're going to watch on Netflix, or whatever it is that you do on your phone, and I want you to ask this. And maybe you are honoring God and shunning evil with what you're doing, but I want you to go, does this honor God and shun evil? You're about to go over to somebody's house and do something, I want you to go, does this honor God and shun evil? Because I think a lot of the times, if we are honest with the things that we're about to do, they are certainly not shunning evil. There's a pastor I know, he calls TikTok the devil's playground, okay? Because he's not wrong, all right? And I'm not going to tell you if you're supposed to get off that or not. All I can tell you is anytime I'm on it, I'm like, this is nasty stuff, okay? And so just something to think about there. And here's the thing. This is going to be different for every person in this room because every person here is going to have different struggles and different sins and different things that impact you. And it's going to be different for every person. And so for one person, when you ask this question, it may mean that, well, there's those people, and every time I'm with them, we're doing evil, okay? We do this stuff, and I know, and for you, shunning evil, I don't think it necessarily means shunning some people, okay? But it may mean separating spending some time away, not being with those people as much. And it may make it some different changes there. For some of you, it's going to mean deleting some apps. There's just some stuff on your phone that needs to just disappear, needs to go away. It might mean putting a block on your phone, okay, on some certain things. It may, it's just going to be different for every single person. But if you'll learn to do this, to shun the things, it'll change you. In fact, let me just talk about another specific one. I know that for many people, guys and girls, there's like a struggle with the looking lustfully, right, with pornography and things. And there's not like a one key to giving it up, to defeating this addiction. But one of the things that will help you is you have to learn to hate it, to shun it. See, it works like this. And now I'll illustrate mostly for the guys because, I understand their struggle with it more than girls. I'm a guy, okay. And so, like, it works like this. You're on your phone, you're not thinking about it, right? You're just looking at YouTube, right? You're watching fail videos. Oh, that's funny, he splatted, okay? And you're watching that, and then you know what always pops up on those suggested videos? Some girl wearing not enough, yeah, okay? And you're like, well, there's no nudity on YouTube, so yeah, watch it. And all of a sudden this stuff just starts happening, right, in your mind. Or you're on Instagram and you go to the little search thing and I don't know what it is, but there's always some girl that forgot how to wear clothes, right? And girls, you might not understand this, but it starts doing things inside the mind of the guy. And it won't be long. If you've been there, if you struggle with this addiction, what happens within just a few minutes, you'll be down a road that you didn't intend to go. So here's where the change will begin to happen. If when that first little image pops up, first person wearing, they're clothed, but it's stirring some lust up inside of you. When that first one goes on, if you go, oh, that makes me so mad. I hate that. I hate that that's on there. I didn't want to even think that way. And you just, at that moment, you shun the whole phone, okay? If you begin to see it that way and you begin to hate that first thing, look, most people go, what do you mean that's a person in a swimsuit? You can see that at the swimming pool, okay? But you're going, I hate that. I hate that because of what it does inside me and what it stirs up. See, that's different. That's not how most people do it. They go, well, I can look at that because, it's not technically, technically, okay? And they got the line, they've created a line, they're gonna get as close to the line. That's not how you get free. So what we wanna do, honor God and shun evil. I know some of you are like, come on, don't talk about this stuff. I just wanna do my thing. I didn't even talk about your music. I was gonna do that. Let's do it. If I played the last 10 songs you listened to for our playlist after service, would that be okay? If it's not, okay, just thinking out loud. Come on. Why would it? Okay, never mind. So, come on, don't talk about that. I just want to listen to what I want to listen to and watch what I want to watch and let God forgive me. But here's the thing. If I went to my friend's house, okay, and we're going to have dinner, and he gives me a nice can of Dr. Pepper because he knows what I like. And I see my friend sit down, and he goes to his garage and comes in, and he starts pouring him a glass of gas, okay? Do you think I'm sitting there and go, all right? No, if my friend, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Okay, no, we're gonna get you some help. If you're my friend and you go up on top of this 30-foot building and say, I wanna see if I can survive it, okay? I'm gonna call the police if I have to, tie you down, whatever I gotta do to keep you from jumping off. Why? Because I'm your friend and I don't wanna see you crushed. And I'm so tired of watching people get poisoned by stuff because they see it every day right here on their phone. I'm tired of seeing people get crushed by some relationships in their life that were just stirring up evil inside of them. I hate seeing it. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. It'd be much easier for me to come up here and just say, Jesus loves you and you're blessed, okay? But I want to see some change. And and we all need it. We all need it. And so just asking yourself, does this, whatever this is for your life, honor God and shun evil? Man, that'll make a difference. And I believe that you'll see health inside and strength inside that you haven't in a while. I'm going to say a prayer. When I say amen, we're able to pray with each other again. And so we're just going to stand. We're going to sing part of a song. We're not going to be here much longer. And then if you need prayer for anything going on, maybe it has something to do with tonight or maybe something else, there'll be some people in the back of the room to pray with you. Just walk back there. Make sure you put on your mask to keep them and everyone else healthy and safe. But we want to pray for you, and then we'll be dismissed in just a moment. Father, I thank you that you love us. I pray that we would just have a true awe of you and who you are. I pray that we would see you as great and huge and big as you are, but Lord, as also as personal and loving as you are. And I pray that we would hate the evil that's in us and that's affecting us. And help us, Lord, to cast it off, to shun it. In Jesus' name, amen.